The Gospel of Jesus Christ according to St. Matthew, Mount 9:18-26. While Jesus was speaking to the disciples of John, suddenly a leader came forward, bowed before him, and said, "My daughter has just died. But come, lay your hand on her, and she will live." Jesus got up and followed him, and so did his disciples. Then suddenly, a woman who had been suffering from hemorrhages for 12 years came up behind him and touched the fringe of his cloak. For she said to herself, "If I only touch his cloak, I will be made well." Jesus turned, and seeing her, said, "Take heart, daughter, your faith has made you well." And instantly the woman was healed. When Jesus came to the leader's house and saw the flute players and the crowd making a commotion, he said, "Go away, the girl is not dead but sleeping." And they laughed at him. But after the crowd had been put outside, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl got up. And the news of this spread throughout that entire region. A healing reflection based on Matthew chapter 9 verses 18-26. Take heart, daughter, your faith has made you well. 1. When hope seems to have vanished. Dear friend, have you ever fallen into such deep loss that words failed you? There are moments in life when we feel just like the Father in today's Gospel, kneeling in despair, holding on to a single thread of hope. If the Lord just lays his hand on her, my daughter will live. It's strange how sorrow can bring us to our knees. Yet in that same place, faith can begin to rise. Sometimes, faith is not a surge of emotion. It's just a quiet step toward Jesus, even when the heart still trembles. Jesus didn't ask the man how much he was hurting. He didn't require explanations. He simply stood up and walked alongside the grieving father. Perhaps in that moment, the man didn't understand everything, but he knew this: if Jesus is walking with me, there is still hope. We can recall the Old Testament story of Job, a righteous man tested beyond measure. He lost his children, wealth, health, friends. And yet, he clung to one thing: his faith in God. Even when his wife told him to curse God and die, he replied, "Shall we accept good from God and not also accept adversity?" Job chapter 2 verse 10. In the end, Job was restored and blessed twice as much. God treasures faith in the darkness, that quiet trust when everything else seems lost. 2. Faith doesn't need to be big, just genuine. On the way to the leader's house, a woman quietly made her way through the crowd. She had been bleeding for 12 years, not only suffering physically, but socially excluded, declared unclean, forbidden to touch or be near others. But she made a brave move: "If I only touch the fringe of his garment." She didn't speak, she didn't ask out loud. She didn't need attention. Just a silent touch, a simple act rooted in deep faith. And Jesus turned around. He saw her, not with his eyes only, but with his heart. He called her gently, "Daughter," not "woman," not "stranger," but "daughter." That one word healed not just her body, but years of being cast aside. One glance, one word, one affirmation, and the miracle unfolded. Take heart, daughter. Your faith has made you well. Her story reminds us of Saint Monica, the mother of Saint Augustine. For over 17 years, she wept and prayed for her wayward son, not with loud sermons, but with silent faith and love. Eventually, Augustine returned and became a great saint and doctor of the Church. Monica didn't perform mighty acts. She simply touched the hem of Christ's robe with her tears and trust. And the miracle came. 3. When others laugh, Jesus still walks in. When Jesus finally arrived at the leader's home, the scene was chaotic: flutes, crying, noise. Then he said something unexpected. The girl is not dead, but sleeping. And they laughed at him. They were so used to grief, so immersed in despair, that they could not believe anything different was possible. But Jesus was not swayed by mockery. He gently cleared the room, entered, took the girl's hand, and with that touch of life, she rose. Saint Francis de Sales once said, "Jesus does not call the perfect, he perfects the called." He didn't need the crowd's approval. He only needed a quiet space, an open heart, a hand willing to be held. Sometimes, we must silence the inner noise and doubt to let Jesus take our hand. 4. When you have just a little faith, take the step. Sometimes we are like the Father, pleading for the impossible. Sometimes we are like the woman, sneaking close with timid faith. And sometimes we are like the crowd, skeptical at the thought of hope. But Jesus, he remains the same. He still enters, still touches, still calls us, child. Even if you are living through silent sorrow, a chronic illness, or a hidden grief, he is drawing near. And what you need is not perfect faith, just a small reaching out. You don't have to run to him, just reach. Because he is already walking toward you. Once, a priest shared, "When I lost my mother, I couldn't pray. I just sat there, holding my rosary, heart empty. But in that emptiness, I heard the voice of Mary. You don't need to say anything. My child, just be here." And healing came, not through answers, but through presence. Jesus doesn't need many words from you. Just your presence. Just your open heart. 5. Your story is still being written. The gospel ends with a simple line, and the news of this spread throughout that region. A miracle, a restored life, a faith honored, no spotlight, no show, just one heart healed, and the world changed. Maybe you think your life is small, hidden, unnoticed. But if you let Jesus touch the wounds you carry, your story will become good news for someone else. Someone who needs a touch. Someone who longs to hear, "Take heart, daughter." And you, beloved friend, will rise again. Not because you are worthy, but because you are loved deeply, endlessly, even in your weakness. A prayer. Lord, when I have only a sliver of hope left, help me reach out. When others laugh at my faith, help me walk on in silence. And when I feel like what I love has died, let me see you are walking toward me. Touch my heart. Call me by name. And raise me up once more. Amen.